Okay, so what we're going to do is today I already selected a topic for you, one that some people fear, but also some people really enjoy, and it's the rhythm changes. That's a thing that you can actually practice your whole life. There are so many possibilities and so many good examples from players. So today will be rhythm changes. So I'll first demonstrate some stuff and give you some exercises and assignments. And then also for the next few days, hopefully this really bad situation will at a certain moment end, so we can really meet again in real life in schools. But anyway, till that time, let's keep practicing. Let's keep the learning muscle going. That's what somebody said. Okay, so today the rhythm changes, and then I'll be open for any suggestions for the next few days also. Otherwise, I have still a lot of topics we can discuss. So today, rhythm changes. Okay, there was actually the mother of all rhythm changes, written by George Gershwin. The tune is called "I Got Rhythm," and that was the basis for all these contrafacts that later were written by Charlie Parker, but Powell. Actually, almost every musician I know. Also, like there are some hip versions, like Michael Brecker has a great one. It's called Suspone, so you can check that on the internet. And so the only thing is that the original version had a few bars extra, which I think all the jazz musicians skipped. So at the end you have but to bring it back to a regular 32 bar form, that's why we skipped those bars. Okay, so because of the really strong form, this actually is basically the whole time a turnaround going from the first degree at certain moment to fourth degree and back, and the bridge, who is basically a dominant chain, it gives a lot of freedom for the improviser. And maybe let's see, is there any questions? Oh yeah, the second one I played was actually Mooch. It's a contrafact or like a melody from Charlie Parker. And it's nice to also know some more heads on the rhythm changes. Otherwise, normally everybody only plays Oleo, which is a cool tune, but there are more. So my assignment would be learn at least one or two different melodies than Oleo on the rhythm changes. So some suggestions would be rhythming for Mooch. That's a really cool one, and Mooch the Mooch, of course. Anthropology, you definitely have to know, so practice that one. And then also listen to some recordings with Bud Powell on the piano, but also recordings, for instance, like the famous one from Brad Melvin, which uses actually a lot of the same material as Bud Powell. Also, a nice one to maybe check out would be, because it's a different key, it's John's Abbey by Bud Powell. It's a rhythm change in E flat. There's also a great recording on YouTube from that one by Keith Jarrett. So enough things to check out already this week. So as we said, almost every musician wrote their own melody on the rhythm changes. So actually really good excitement for this week or today would be for you to write your own melody on the rhythm changes. Oh, there are already some questions about the improvisation. Yeah, and Jelle also mentions one that's really good. It's a rhythm change in A flat on a record from Kenny Dorham, Una Mas, and it's called Straight Ahead, and it's Herbie Hancock on piano. Super cool. Yeah. Okay. So maybe we can talk a little bit about improvisation. So I have some different exercises for you to practice. The first one is actually going all the way back to only the basic functions. So you could say it's all a turnaround. So let's say it's only B flat. So it's actually there's 2 times turnaround. So actually it can be B flat. And now we are really going to the 4th degree, E flat. So let's say it can be in the 6th bar E flat. So, so if we only work with these functions, and of course the 5th, the 5 in the last bar. So let's see if we can improvise on that using only B flat, E flat, and F7. So we also added some blues licks. Okay, so especially when it's really fast, this approach can really help you to really only think about B flat, or sometimes adding the E flat or the F7. Yeah, so let's say so you have to practice a lot of patterns that are really working in B flat. So let's say one already really good to practice is like patterns that are based on the 1, the 3, and the 5. I already showed a few examples. Maybe. So that one definitely have to practice in 12 keys. B, F sharp, and the rest you can. Okay, so that's one pattern. Another pattern would be that's a really cool one from Oscar Peterson that I learned. We'll start different points. So okay, so now we're going to add some more chords. So let's say over we're going to also add the F7 between the B flats. So let's say maybe B flat 7. so we have a little bit more direction. So we have only B flat, and F7 has a very clear target. Oh, we know. See you later. Okay. So maybe let's practice that first. So go for the basic functions and then add the dominant between the 1s and the dominant going to the 4. Okay, the next step is instead of only the 5, we use the 2/5, of course. So we have like B flat. So it's get already a little bit more people-ish, okay? So let's say then we're almost there, like the whole turnaround. Now we can also add the 6, of course, the G7. And so let's go for a few alternative changes for that part. So the G7 we can replace with the B diminished, which sounds like a G7 actually. And then the next step would be C sharp diminished. That's like C sharp diminished going to D minor in the 3rd bar. Okay, that's already nice practice. And then maybe also instead of going D minor, G7, C minor, F7, we could also go chromatically down. So let's say D flat. There's a great line I learned from Barry Harrison in masterclass, where he also uses harmonic displacement that we can also talk about later. But like this is the line. So that's really a super one to practice. So okay, so now we already have some possibilities. Then for the next 4 bars, so bar 5 till 9, I think. So we had like B flat to E flat, back to B flat. Now I always think about 2 ways to go there. So I think like a bass line going up or a bass line going down, which results in the next few chords. So let's say B flat. Can be E flat 6 or E flat 7. So also fine. And we go up to the diminished, which goes to the 1 with the 5 in the bass. So really cool lines from Charlie Parker. Okay, that's possibility number 2. So thinking about the bass line going up, the bass line going down. So actually brings us to a 4 minor. So if we play it with this line, so actually that's happening in Mooch. So instead of going all the way with that line as a root, we can also just make it into 2 5s, of course. So we can say like B flat, E flat, A flat 7. So that's already some possibilities for the A. Now I'll see if there are any questions. Okay, I think then probably it's more clear. Oh, Sander asked something about Transatlantic Highway. Wow, that's a really old recording. Yeah, I think I know what he means. So, of course, everybody can make also their own variations harmonically. So what I did, I just stacked it full with 2 5s. So let's say for the second half of the A, so F minor, E flat, D flat minor, C minor. Or with a sequence is also cool to practice. So. All things to practice. Okay, there's a lot of things to practice. Then maybe talk a little bit about there are a few for the more advanced and the adventurous students. There's also one really cool one that I heard with Monk, but definitely with Bill Evans, is replacing the first 4 bars with a dominant chain, starting a major further down, so F sharp 7. Let's say we do it on the second thing. So the second one I played actually is it's kind of based on what Bill Evans plays on the tune 5. This tune definitely you have to check out. It's super cool. It starts like this. So it's also a great exercise for your octatonic thirds that you can practice, of course. So in 5, what he does, the rhythm, the theme is just like a normal rhythm change, but in the solo he starts always on this dominant chain, F sharp, to the 1. But instead of playing what I first played like some classical sequences, or even like with the flat 9. Instead of playing like this kind of sequence, which is where every dominant is treated the same way, he actually thinks of an upper structure that is going down chromatically. So instead of F sharp 7, you think of a 9 and a sharp 11 and 13. Just arpeggiate it. And he plays also in the solo, sometimes only using the augmented triad. Which gives a kind of like a whole tone sound. Any questions about that? Or maybe I'm missing the whole chat. No, yeah, it's right. Okay, so of course, it's nice to check out a lot of different recordings, and you'll find a lot of these harmonic variations that everybody uses. There's also one cool one I always use. I stole from Herbie Hancock. It's like just going chromatically up with sharp 9 chords. Right? maybe a little down. It's a little bit more hip. It's nice. The name of the song, which song was it? 5 from Bill Evans, I think. Yeah. Okay. So I guess then we have to start talking about the bridge. Yeah. So in the original, it's really just like only dominants, starting on the 3rd degree, D7, G7, C7, F7. Okay, so like when you hear the original, like that's optional. So it's just actually D7. Yeah, so there's of course there's some tunes where they really go for only these basic functions, and actually the one mentioned before, the Rhythming from Mooch, is really based on those 4 dominants. So like, of course, all with the whole tone sound. So that could already be the first approach to practice, is only using D whole tone, G whole tone, C whole tone, F whole tone. I think we also practiced with some group lessons in the school, as everybody knows. So we get D7. So there's also a good exercise to practice the whole tone scales. Basically, there are only 2, so we use both 2 times on the bridge. Yeah, there were a lot of questions online from a video, me playing rhythm changes quite long ago in Korea. You can look it up if you like, it's on YouTube. And a lot of people asked about this thing, like, because I just use like a lot of whole tone on the bridge, and they asked about exactly a plate, but what I did is like using a Barry Harris exercise, actually. So also for you to practice, is already enough for 1 week, I think, but okay. So the whole tone, what he does is he uses the major first, and he connects them with a chromatic note between the lower voices. Yeah, so that's cool. Cool to practice. Someone says enough to practice for the whole life. Yeah, that's why I'm talking about rhythm change. I'm still practicing. Okay, so let's say if we do in real time the bridge with only whole tone. Let's see if we can find some nice lines, and I will just keep repeating the B. Yeah, so like, maybe first the melody. So also think that's really nice to practice with the whole tone. Actually, with every scale we know is to add half steps, what I just did. So instead of only the, so you can also, between every note you can put a half step. maybe we can one time also do one session only about like whole tone. Who knows? Okay, so somebody asked about the fingering. I think about the whole tone. Yeah, so for the whole tone, actually it's only 2 scales. So I always think of the for the C. So I do 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. And the G, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1. So maybe the 2 on the D flat. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Ah, you can do it with 3 fingers. Save those 2 for later when you're old. Okay. The whole tone lick in thirds for the fingering. Yeah, so that the one I learned from Barry Harris again. Yeah, I followed his masterclasses 10 years when I was teaching at the Royal Conservatory. He came every year. He came 1 week, so there was so much inspiration. Super cool. Okay, so the fingering. He was a really big fan of a kind of universal fingering. So that means like whatever happens, even if classical piano players don't like it, always use the same fingering in every position. Okay, so let's say the one in C. So we have 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1. This one feels a little uncomfortable. And same the one maybe in F. That's basically all the keys we have. Yeah. So that's about the fingering. Okay. So outside ways of playing the bridge. Yeah, we're still busy with the 4 chords. Okay. So let's say we have those 4 dominants, and of course, as all the beboppers know, if you have a dominant, you can always make into a 2/5. So instead of the D7, you can first take A minor, the D7, or even some people prefer a half diminished, which is also cool. Because we're in a B flat key, so actually A half diminished is more connected to the 1. But the other one sounds a little bit more fresh. So let's say we come from the second A. It would be the A minor, and the other one would be let's do it. Sorry. So that's up to you. You can maybe practice both, like A minor with a natural fifth or a half diminished. That's up to you. And okay, so then that's the first D7. Now we change to 2/5. You can do it all the dominants. So let's say we have the A minor, D minor, G minor, C minor. Yeah, and there could be also like a combination of those 2, which I actually prefer. So I do A minor, D7, resolving to G, and then D minor, G7, resolving to C. What did you do? Oh, maybe later. Okay, so let's say instead of so we go first to G7, 2/5, C7, and then maybe the last 2 bars. Actually, it's good to keep the long 2/5. So the C minor. And so let's say how it works with the solo. And so now we have all these 2/5s going on, sort of to create a little bit more harmonic movement. Then also some great trick. I don't know from who I learned, but it's like instead of going for the D, G, C, F, turn half of them into a tritone. So D7. to make it a little bit more hip. Or the other way around also. So the D7, A flat 7. That was a secret Triton 2-5. Okay, so and if we do this with sus chords, then it sounds super nice, I think. So let's say the last part of the second A. So it was with A flat. So that could be a super cool thing to practice also. So D sus, D flat sus, C sus, B sus, or the tritone of all of them. A flat sus, G flat sus, F sus. Okay, that's already I think a lot of stuff for the B. And so like somebody says about giant steps, Coltrane. Yeah, I also tried a little bit. So what I do, I use the countdown changes starting from the C minor. So let's say and bar 5. So yeah, that works when it's really fast. Then you don't have to tell the bass player. Otherwise, there will be a big fight in the break. No more free beers or drive home. Okay, maybe in the B, you could also try some countdown Coltrane changes. Maybe let's say E flat to G minor, but I wouldn't recommend that if you don't tell the bass player. Okay, let's see if there's some questions. How do you generally approach company in the left hand? Yeah, of course, if you play with the trio, I would play different voicings than now. But of course, now I'm alone the next 3 weeks. So I just go for a little walking bass, or just a lot of times to practice and to accompany myself. I use kind of the Powell stuff, like the 1-5, 1-7, 1-3. And sometimes if I can reach it, I go for 1-7-10. But I'm not architect. I can only reach a 10, but even not in all the keys. Okay. How to practice block chord solo? Then it has to be in the rhythm change. What are the chords? Which chords? Oh, the sus chords for the B section. Yeah, so going chromatically from D, which is the original dominant, chromatic down every 2 bars. So also maybe a nice thing just to talk about a little bit is the sus chords in jazz, because sometimes if you have to accompany, let's say, a pop song with a singer, and it says sus, doesn't necessarily mean these chords. Actually, sus chord sometimes just goes to the 1 chord, like the. But in jazz, actually, sus chord most time means actually 2-5. So D sus is actually A minor 7 with a D in the bass. So the 5 in the bass. So. So you can also play just like the 2-5 over it, like. That sounds like exercise, and it is. Okay, I'll check a little more. Okay. Do you practice everything you can do with your right hand, with your left hand as well? That's a really good question. Of course, you have to see for which purpose you practice. So let's say I just want to practice a lot of material, like I just showed on rhythm changes. Then most important is that the right hand can do it and the left hand can maybe support. But of course, for technical reasons, it's sometimes good if you already know a line really good with the right hand, also to incorporate the left hand. Because jazz piano players are known for a lazy left hand. And I saw an interview with Brad Meldo that he at a certain moment had the feeling his left hand was even worse than when he was 12. So that's why he started really going for all the classical stuff. For that, it's really good to practice also Bach, but also like technical exercise and some skills or licks with two hands. Let's say if you this one. So it's a matter of doing it a lot, and then the left hand gets more comfortable actually following the right hand. But now, too many questions. Okay, content changes in the form. Yeah. So starting on the second bar, and then actually going for countdown, so that we resolve in the fifth bar on B flat. Okay. So that would be like kind of a, what is it? Like a parallel movement. That could also be possible, yeah. So there's a lot of things possible on rhythm change. That's why it's super cool to practice. So now I was still kind of demonstrating like a kind of bebop way of playing it, but of course we can also go for other sounds or other styles. One thing that you really have to listen to, it's super cool. It's a recording of Keith Jarrett of Oleo, and he kind of sticks to B flat major pentatonic. So actually, forget about all the chords. So because actually maybe the melody is almost like B flat major pentatonic. So you get like. Anyway, it's good exercise to practice pentatonics. Yeah. So let's say that could work. That's a completely different sound. So anyway, if we're talking about pentatonics, we can also think even like playing pentatonics over the sus chords in the B, what we just saw. So let's say D sus. So it sounds really much different than the bebop style. Yeah. So like so also this rhythm change they filmed on the masterclass in Korea. I tried to go also for octatonic, sus chords, chromatic stuff. So just also experiment a little bit and try out some thing. Let's say if you have this, I can also think like 8 bars B flat octatonic. Let's say. So like it's complete. There's a little bit more modern sound. So actually, this kind of reminds me a little bit of this tune of Michael Brecker that I want to show you. And oh yeah, if you have any questions also later about material, of course, a lot of stuff is what I said on YouTube. But I also have a lot of PDF that maybe easiest would be I can put them maybe tonight on my website that you can just download it for free. So I have this tune that's definitely more modern than the bebop tunes from Michael Brecker, and it's kind of has this octatonic sound. So I'll play a little bit for you. Cool tune, yeah. So that one I definitely transcribed. So I definitely have as a PDF. And actually, the one I started with, the original Gershwin, I also have as a PDF. It's his original arrangement he made from I Got Rhythm. Actually, he made like 20 I Got Rhythm variations, but this is from a really great book. It's called The Piano Arrangements of George Gershwin. And there's also Wonderful and Liza. It's super cool, but it's technically quite difficult. Okay, maybe some more questions? Yeah, so, oh, wait a minute. 2 licks in the beginning, one of them was Oscar Peterson lick. Yeah. So for the fingering of this kind of okay, not everything same time. Okay, so the fingering, let's say for this, I would do 2-1, 4-3, 2-4, 4, because then you're in the position to go 1-2, 4-1-3-4, and then 1-2-4-3-1. Ah shit, I lost it. Ah, yeah, so 2-4-3-2-1. 3. Shit. 2-4-3-2-3. 1-3-1-2-1. And anyway, with fingering, yeah, my kind of approach is that there's no wrong fingering as long as it's comfortable for you. But definitely sometimes if a fingering is so that you cannot play legato, then it's wrong. But otherwise, fingering, if you use a 2 or 3, as long as it can be legato, then the sound will be good. Yeah. I think I also showed sometimes I use sometimes really wrong fingering, but I'm afraid to show because you never know what classical people see. Okay. Okay. I Got Rhythm, you played some Gershwin's Chromatic Dominance. Yeah, that's cool. Huh? So that's in his arrangement. So you have D flat 7. The easiest is to think chromatic dominance left hand down. And the right hand adds the 9. But it sounds cool because the melody is not going chromatic. So like. It's all dominant 7 with the 9 going chromatic, but the melody makes it super interesting. Yeah. Actually, I tried to practice it also to implement it. C7. F7. So just try to see wherever you can use it. Yeah. Okay. Could you tell more about what you would practice with the pentatonic playing? Yeah, pentatonics is also a world by itself, but I really practice a lot of different patterns. We also do it in school with the group lessons, and of course, so many different combinations possible. I would recommend check out Jerry Bergonzi online. He's the professor of pentatonic. He has all the patterns. Yeah. There's somebody. Rhythm changes in 12 keys. Whoa! Now, at least you have to know B flat. That's 99% of the times we play B flat. But if you want to play this John's Abbey from Powell, I also have a transcription. I can also put online maybe. They need to know E flat, and if you want to play straight ahead from Dorham, then you have to know A flat. And there's also one rhythm changes from Michel Petrucciani, but I forgot the title. It's in C. So what I did as an exercise for myself, I can recommend to you because the B is actually not that difficult. So let's do 2 A's in B flat, and then go through the circle of fifths. And let's say because it's based on good bait. That one actually also cool to practice because the bridge is a rhythm change in E flat. So like, two times. So that's what the nice thing about good bait. It's a rhythm changes that is not so fast, so it's always cool. And I heard some live recording of Coltrane; it's amazing. So check out good bait also. Yeah. So let's say let's try a little bit only the 2 B's in 12 keys. And let's say. Oh, somebody found the title. It's called Little Piece in C for Y from Michel Petrucciani. Thanks, Philip. Thanks. Okay, let's say let's start with the. There it goes. So, of course, it's not a coincidence. I stop at F sharp. Okay, but it's really good to practice. Good luck. Okay. Let's see. When I'm comping the solos and rhythm changes. Yeah, it's true. The comping, especially because the tempo is quite difficult in the rhythm changes. There are some like standard comping things that work really good. So like it's like most time they use this top line. Like B flat, let's say, with a 6 maybe. You can even go chromatic down. bass, I use the drop 2. So let's say C sharp. So drop 2 is a thing we have to always practice because it has to be really in the fingers. Otherwise, you cannot do it. Cannot do it in real time because sometimes super fast rhythm change. So maybe first practice slowly. So think about my advice for this good bait. Good bait, super cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, B and E, I still have to practice. Maybe the comping would be okay in B, man. Who played rhythm changes in B major? That guy I never met. Okay. I don't know. Some more question about the rhythm changes, and also maybe already think about like some things you really want to discuss the next 3 weeks, because I'll be open for any suggestions, and definitely I'll also try to provide all the PDFs on the website. So it's like robvanbabel.com, very original name for a website. Okay, maybe I'll just play a little bit rhythm change in B flat and I can see if you have some question about it. Okay. Okay, now for a Monday, not so. Okay. Yeah, I think we have to go to maybe the last question and then we continue tomorrow. And yeah, if you like, maybe also tell some friends or colleagues if they like to see. I will be here every day, 1 o'clock, for sure. And think about the questions, okay? So, oh, nice. Now, you're welcome. Okay, then see you tomorrow. Okay. Bye-bye.